All right, hello, boys and girls. This is Old Man Yells at Cloud for Blue Powder Monkeys Patreon. And this is our last video for Norwescon program. I'm basically now going to do all the changes that got sent back, cleaned up and whatnot, and then we're going to send it off to the printer. I am tired, probably a little cranky, not horrible, but definitely tired, so keep that in mind. But what I thought this would be a good finding my music here. I didn't do it in advance. Da-da-da. We're gonna go with some Pink Floyd, I guess. Delicate Sound of Thunder, which is not my favorite of their albums, but it came up, and oh, it's a live show. Never mind. It's gonna be fine. They're good. All right. So this is an opportunity to talk about suggestions. I have talked in the past about graphic design being essentially a garbage art. When you're being paid by a client, you do what the client wants. The tricky bit with this is I'm not being paid, though it's a thing that I respect, so there's that. And some of the people giving me comments back, and this is where everything gets kind of delicate. It's not that people aren't qualified or aren't whatever, because art is kind of subjective. But they may not have the same sort of level of skill in my specific craft, or I don't know, they may just not have the same tastes visually in things, which is a lot of it. And I discovered this in when I did screenwriting specifically, but I think it was kind of there before that, and it all kind of matters. There isn't really such a thing as a bad comment. I'm going to say that a comment is bad in this video, most likely, or that it's dumb. I'm definitely not going to fucking dox who are making these comments, because there's nothing personal about any of this. But even a comment that you may initially think is dumb, or that they don't understand or whatever, means that a person who is reviewing the work didn't connect with the work for some reason. And you have to examine it and see if that's your fault, right? Like, it possibly means that they just didn't see something or understand it to a deeper level. That's fine. I'm not very good sometimes, even though I write screenplays and shit. I miss subtext in movies a lot of times. And a lot of times you add subtext that might not be there, but the filmmaker sort of leaves the thing open enough that you could interpret it that way, and it's not necessarily a wrong answer. So I'm going to look at all of these comments. Some of them are going to be slam dunks of, oh yeah, I fucked up there and I need to correct that. And I'll point some of those out. I'm in no way a perfect graphic designer or person, and I have in no way created a perfect document. That's a goal we can keep trying for, but we will never succeed. And then occasionally, again, I might say something is like, this is a dumb comment, or there might be ones that I dismiss instantly. But in reality, I am sort of giving it some cursory thought. And there may actually even be a comment that I initially think is dumb. This has happened before. And then 4 pages later, 15 minutes later, I've had a little bit of time to sort of think about it. And it's like, they're right. Or, yeah, their comment isn't necessarily accurate, but that is a problem and I need to solve it a different direction. That's what happens a lot of times. I had an old boss that basically had a lot of comments on stuff, and he was the boss. and his comments weren't very good. So I basically had to interpret what he was really saying. He'd be like, "This thing here is too red." I remember one specifically where something was too red, and I'm like, "Well, it's basically 100% red." So it was magenta. So it was like, "Do you need this to be blacker or pinker? Because I can't go any other direction with it." But what he actually meant was he needed the thing to stand out more. What he was really saying is he wanted to stand out more on the page. Well, so that ended up being a valid comment, but his solution was wrong. You can make things more prominent on a page by changing their size, hierarchy. You can also make them potentially read more red by placing them next to other different colors, right? You could put a green or a whatever, and then something might appear more red. So there's stuff like that as well. Well, this is already weird. Am I using like a... No? This is interesting because it's not fitting in the space, but the text is definitely smaller. Oh, first of all, it's attached to the baseline, which isn't great. There we go. So the first comment is one where I just fucked up. And they want this entry for Bradley here to be orbit instead. So it's like, okay. Now, ironically, one might say, I deleted... Oh, okay. I deleted the original text that I had up there that was unedited, or that was still in text form. I turned this into a... I turn this into outlines, which I do occasionally. Oh, there we go. Interesting. So this is in alignment. But it's not lining up for some reason. Oh, I bet it's got a pad around it. Yeah, it definitely has a pad around it. Okay. Perfect. So that's what today's going to be. It's a lot of this. Oop. Interesting. Interesting. All right, cool. That worked out fine. And I tell them this each time, and they get it, mostly. But every time I open this document up and work on it is a chance to make it better and a chance to fuck it up more by accidentally changing something I'm not supposed to change. So I kind of weigh it in that as well. So, so I think in their perfect world, oh, that is loud. Bum, 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 bum. Ooh, that's very 80s. When was this? 88. It's like, oh yeah, based on the hair and the dresses the ladies are wearing, and David Gilmour's fucking Miami Vice suit or whatever that he's wearing there. Okay. So basically, they want like, if possible, like Orbit slash Brady Engelbert or Engelert, but there's not room for that, and that would cause more problems than that would cause way more design problems than just changing it to Orbit. So sorry, Bradley, if you're wondering why your name isn't in the front of the book, it's because I was told to remove it, or I was told to do that kind of thing. Right? I was told to spell Orbit correctly. Shine on you, pray. Is gone. Shit, I wish this had an up-down arrow. Oh, shit. Oop. All right, why is this not... Okay, that feels like it might be attached to a baseline. Let's find out. Nope. Okay, so it's not attached to a baseline. This is what I'm talking about. Each little change now is just creating this whole fucking thing. And obviously, if I'd done it correctly the first time. All right, so now we know that I have to break this up, which is annoying. That's how it works. Actually, I might as well do it all here. There we go. Yeah, no idea. Actually, I may leave Bradley. Yeah, I think that's actually clever. It also means I won't have to redo the reflection. Oh, I see. All right. Oh no. Oh, I see. They're all separated, curved. So first we get to do that. So then, oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so then this. It's going to be slightly off. There we go. And then that's going to be excellent. All right, and we can get rid of this. Excellent. And we can do that. All right, and so that was let me go find what I did with the O and the other orbit in their main thing here. I didn't do anything with it. Interesting. Okay, cool. It is orbit and not a planet, so I can leave it circular like that. So this was a thing that needed to get done, and it turned out to actually, I think, improve the document because of the whole reflection of his name over here. All right, let's find out what's going on here in my. Somebody tried to change something again. All right. One of the dumb things that's going on is they're adding fucking clubs and dealers to the thing on a list that I got 2 weeks ago. And you can't tell me that all of these clubs and dealers came in like last night or yesterday or whatever. And that's just straight somebody not doing their job. And everybody's volunteer, I get it. But that's just crap flowing downhill, basically. Because this should have gotten to me well before this stage. All right. All right. So somebody wants this a little darker, which I'm going to consider momentarily and then ignore for the most part. Let's see here. I think it'll look different in print, and two, it doesn't need to be. It clearly doesn't need to be darker or brighter because they knew what it was. So it's kind of an aesthetic choice, basically. There also was some confusion on the fact that there was a comment basically of like the illuminating the way thing is their theme, and sometimes the theme is more or less precious than others, and the kind of the worst quality of it is there's no specified lookbook or feel book or whatever defining what they even mean by illuminating. So we had one person, for example, doing illuminated text, which isn't illuminating at all. It's just artwork that the medieval people added to stuff. and doesn't mean the same thing as the literal word illumination, which is to make things lighter. But at the same time, illuminating the way could also be a parent teaching their kid how to read or whatever, right? Like there's so many different interpretations to something like that, that to try to narrow it down to a thing is just the way that you've interpreted that thing. So this person, my guess is based on the comment, doesn't feel like this is illuminating the way because it's not bright and like shiny or whatever. And again, that's one interpretation of the thing and not even a deep one, basically. So for fun, keep smacking the thing here. I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. I'm definitely not turning it yellow. Or bright white or whatever. This kind of overwhelms the logo, which is something else that I don't think was a consideration in the comment. Or made the assumption that the logo could be brighter and then this would kind of catch up to it or whatever. So I don't want it to overwhelm the logo, I guess. But I also don't want to make the logo necessarily like super bright or anything either. Oops, why am I not getting... Oh, because I got to go in one. There we go. Have I locked this unintentionally? I did lock this unintentionally. There we go. Nope. Did I lock this unintentionally? Nope. Gosh, what is going on with this stuff? Okay, I'm getting the dots. Why aren't I... Oh, because Norwescon's locked? It's not even showing up. Where's that at even? Oh, that's the one off the screen. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Oh, I see. Okay, so those two are definitely locked. Let's do this. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and I sublocked the things. Okay, there we go. Come on. There you go, buddy. %, hard light. Okay. So I'm going to go to 65. How's that look? Better. Yeah, looks better. Or doesn't completely throw everything off the way the other thing did. Oh, I know what it can do actually. Let's try this. Ooh, that's not cool. Oh, I bet the guest of honor thing is... See, this is taking like a half an hour just to dick around with something that was basically not broken. That is a normal color of that. So that makes the Norwescon look even more faded. Into the sky. So yeah, that stays. Those are 100%. I'm going to call this good. I got more important things to do. All right. So I wish I could mark these off somehow. Oh, I can mark them off. All right, don't see back or side, blah, blah, blah. So somebody wants a date and all the rest of that on there, which I don't think matters too much, but do I add it to this, I wonder? Sorry if that